Good morning, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Here, it's echoing here.
You need to mute your computer. There you go.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by the Treaty 13 of the Mississaugas of the Credit. My name is Isaac Laluz, and I'm chairing the hearing. With us today we have Ms. Atarode, Ms. Sankar, Ms. Manning, and Mr. Khan. City staff, we have today Simon Lam, who is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Brandon Clapp, and Irving Bridgerat. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted a hybrid in virtual and in-person formats. Some applicants and applicants will make their submission in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto Planning YouTube channel. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablets, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during the video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. Receiving a copy of the decision of the committee. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, which are found, I believe, over there. Bless you. And those by video should respond by email, should request by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address, because the Committee of Adjustment and Toronto Local Appeal Body, TLAB, will be submitting notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances, to Ontario Lands Tribunal called OLT. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed the rights of third party to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the appellant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified person and public bodies as named in the Planning Act are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing today will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentations if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the appellant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised, to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call the speakers in the hearing room and then the participants through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions and or take the matter directly for decision. Please, when all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken to committee for decision. Now we have here some minutes. First, some minutes to approve here. August 10, 2023, we have Nadini and Ms. Sankar and Ms. Atarodi. Can I have a motion to approve? Ms. Sankar, second, Ms. Nadini, thank
Motion
you.
to
All in
approve those
favor?
minutes.
Okay, so for the staff, the minutes of August 10, 23 are now adopted. We have another one of March 9, 2023. We have Ms. Atarodi, Ms. Sankar, and Ms. Manning. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt those minutes.
Okay, I have Ms. Sankar here. Second, Ms.
second
Atarodi.
Yes.
All in favor? Okay, thank you. For the staff, March 9, 23 is now adopted. And another one, April 27, 2023. I have here Ms. Atarodi, Mr. Khan, and myself.
Motion to
Do
adopt.
I have, yeah, Ms. Atarodi, thank you. Second, Mr. Khan, thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. And myself, so that's 3, is all approved, is all adopted. And for the staff, April 27, 2023, the minutes are now adopted. Now, for the now for staff and members, any conflict of interest to declare? No? Okay. So, Mr. Deputy Secretary Treasurer, any files to close?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are no files to close today.
Thank you. Okay, now we have, this morning we have for deferral, we have number 3 for deferral request. And here we have Mr. Jonathan Benkovsky. Are you there? Mr. Benkovsky?
I'm here, sir.
Okay, please state your name and address for the system to be recorded here, please.
Yes, Jonathan Benskowski.
And your address, please?
301 Keewatin Avenue.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here the one here, 37 Rowley Avenue, and you're asking for deferral request. Could you please tell us what's the reason for the deferral?
I'm not aware of a deferral request, Mr. Chair. I did not make one.
Well, yeah. So, okay, so you don't want to defer, that's fine. So you will call you when your turn comes in, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we have application number 1, which is 165 Elmridge Drive. And here we have Adam Brown. Mr. Brown, are you there?
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
through you, there's one more deferral.
What's that?
There's one more deferral request in the morning.
Which one?
Number 6.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, number 6, which is 6150 Young Street. And number 6, here we have Mona Al-Sharari. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning,
Okay,
Chair and committee
can you please
members.
state your name and address for us and tell us what the reason for the deferral?
My name is Mona El-Sharari, and I'm from Bassfields Incorporated, which is located at 3 Church Street in the city of Toronto.
Thank
The
you.
reason as to why
What's the reason for the deferral?
we're requesting a deferral to make some more changes to the proposed development. There's also a letter by transportation requesting for additional
Needing
materials.
more decision. Okay. Anyone to speak for the deferral here? We don't have anybody to speak for deferral? Okay. So members, we have a request for a deferral to make changes to the application. Do I have a motion? Okay, Ms. Sankar, first. Second.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I motion to defer this application to allow the applicant or agent to make changes to the application sine die.
Thank you, Sunny Dai. Thank you. And second,
I'll second it.
Ms. Sataro, the seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. So your application is deferred sine die, and you can check with the staff when it comes back, so they can let you know when it's coming back. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So now we have application number 1, which is Elmridge Drive, and here we have Adam Brown. Mr. Brown, are you there? Mr. Adam Brown, are you there?
I am. I think my video is not working, but that's fine.
Okay, well, we hear you. We hear you anyways. Could you please state?
Perfect.
Could you please state your name and address so it can be recorded on the system?
Sure. It's Adam.
Now we lost you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm here on behalf of the applicant. The address is 40 Holly Street, Suite 404, Toronto, M4S 3C3.
Okay.
And
thank
this
you.
is,
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just 1 second. We have here the easement is being taken care of by Mr. Lam, who is the Deputy Secretary Treasurer. Here we're going to deal just with the variance number 1 we have. I believe you have only one variance number 1. So could you please, there is no, could you give me a minute? Members, we have here 1 variance. Staff report has only a condition. Transportation recommends approval, and engineering said no objection and recommends approval. Do we need a presentation? Yeah, anybody would like to speak on this application? Oh, okay. Somebody want to speak on it? Yeah? Okay. Okay, Mr. Brown, could you please make a short presentation on the merit of this application?
I will. This is a building for Arena Foundation. It's for individuals who have different forms of disability. It's a nonprofit group that provides this housing, which is critical and important. I provided you slides that were assuming the severance was there, but I realize it's delegated. So the only relevant slide is the one that shows the building side by each. And I'll call it a Tide commercial. There is no difference. The building is exactly the same in terms of its height, its built form. Unfortunately, when they did the design and submitted it to the city zoning department for the review, the mezzanine wasn't counted as a story. So it's the exact same number of levels, but in the same measured height. Instead of being 19 plus a mezzanine, it's 20 stories because the mezzanine is a story. So about as technical as you ever get, no physical change whatsoever, which is why you see no objections from your staff in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just one variance from 19 to 20 story. That's it, right?
Yeah, physical height the same.
Okay. All right. So I understand there is somebody who wants to speak here to this application. Anyone would like to speak to this application? We'd like you to please state your name and address.
Yes, hi, my name is Grace Tafari.
Can you please speak up? We don't hear you.
Yes, my name is Grace Tafari, and I live at 145 Elmer's Drive, apartment 901. And I would just like to know why the adjustment.
And what?
Why is the adjustment going to happen? Why?
You're asking, excuse me, you're asking why this is happening?
Why the adjustment?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't get you. Could you please speak up a little bit louder?
Why the adjustment?
Why this adjustment? Okay, that's all your question? Okay,
okay.
we'll have the agent respond to that. Anyone else to speak on this application? Okay, please come up. State your name and address.
Hi, my name is Sharon Murdoch. I'm at 145 Elmridge Drive, apartment 505 in Toronto.
Okay.
And I'd like to know, do we have to move from this building with this new proposal?
If you have what?
Do we have to move?
To move?
Yes.
We don't entertain that. We'll have the agent respond to your questions. Any other questions?
Not at this present time.
That's your only question. Okay? Okay, please come up.
Hi.
Your name and your address, please.
Daniel, what was it, 145? I just wanted to ask a few questions here.
Excuse me, can you please speak up a little bit?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a few questions here.
Okay.
Let's just go through this here real quick.
He said his name. Yeah, could you please repeat your name? He wasn't recorded properly.
Daniel Kalin.
Daniel.
Yeah. So I have 6 questions here. All right. First question, when will this construction take place?
Okay.
Right? Are you just recording them? You're going to answer them after, or?
Okay.
Okay, good. So that's number 1. When will this construction take place? Number 2, where will all the tenants be going? Right? Number 3, will they have a choice of what location or building they would like to live in temporarily? Number 4, will their rent remain the same at their temporary location? Number 5, once construction is complete, when will they get the units back, or will they have to elsewhere in the when will they get their original units back, or will they have to live elsewhere in the building? Number 6, why are you doing this construction? There's been people living there for over 30 years. That's all my questions for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Please come up.
155 to 1.
But you know what it is? They put 145. So I think all the residents of 145 are up in arms.
Yeah, can you please, your address is what?
Good morning, yellow ladies and gentlemen. This is my first time in the city hall because it was to me a kind of surprise. I didn't have notice of anything. It just came on the front door. I see that it says 145 Elmridge on the plans of the city now. I would like, yeah, I've been living there for ever since the building we start moving in. I was one of the first tenants to move in. But I do not know so far, and they haven't explained clearly whether 145 is the same fate as 165. Are they going to demolish 145? What is our future? Where I'm worried about where am I going to live? I'm 86 now, and I have no plans. So I would like information for me to go ahead and.
Okay.
What is my future?
Okay, thank you. We'll have the agent explain and answer those questions, even though he's not part of the variance, but we'll have him explain everything, okay?
Thank you. By the way, I live on 103, apartment 103.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Finished. Okay, all right. Mr. Brown, could you please come back and you heard the questions, see if you can answer some of those questions.
So let me answer the latest questions first. There is no demolition of 145. They will not be displaced in any way, shape, or form. They're not leaving their buildings. The easements relate to underground easements and the like, but they will not be forced out of their building in any way, shape, or form. This variance only relates to the new building on the adjacent lot over at 165. So I think it's just because of the way the notice reads, and I get it. It's not exactly the easiest thing for people to understand, but their building will not be touched. And to answer the first gentleman's question, why is the variance needed? It literally is to allow the exact same building that council approved with staff support to be constructed with the same number of levels. Technically, there was a miss. The mezzanine wasn't counted as a story. So despite the fact that the height, the gross floor area, and everything else is the same, the setbacks, we need this technical variance for stories being rewritten from 19 to 20. But their units won't be touched. They will be intact and they will not be removed from the site in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, thank you. Any question for the applicant? No questions? Then can I have a motion, please? Ms. Satarodi, go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with only one condition that mentioned in the staff report dated August 14, 2023, that the overall building height shall be a maximum 64.5 meter as shown at the diagram 3 on site-specific zoning bylaw number 905-2022. That's my motion.
Thank you. And the second? Can I have second? Mr. Khan seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Miss, you didn't do any yes or no? You're for it? Okay, so Miss Manning is for it too because there's some technical problem here. Okay, and there is no opposed, nobody opposing. Okay, okay, so we have here, it's all, there is no, just a condition of the staff, right? That's the only thing we have here. And that's it. So, Mr. Brown?
Thank you.
Mr. Brown is all approved with that condition of the staff, that's all.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Application number 2, which is 11 Lister Drive, application number 2. And here we have Nicholas Dell.
Good morning, committee. Can you hear me okay?
Your address, please?
Nicholas Dell, Harper Dell and Associates. My address is 1370 Shore, Ontario Street, Mississauga.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a consent to several lots. We have 3 variances for part 1, 4 variances for part 2. Staff report recommends to refuse the application, and engineering has no objection, recommendation only. So could you please give us a presentation as to the merit of this application and consider the staff report?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. Through you, we will be taking up our full 5 minutes today, given that there are recommendations and concerns from staff for refusal. I'd like to start by going through the staff comments with you and responding to their concerns, and also informing you that I believe, and I say this with respect, that there are some helpful context and contextual from the provincial planning perspective missing in the staff comments. We're charged to respond to future-ready densification, modest development, and I think this application meets those tests. I'm going to go through first the higher level and higher order operations of the province, and then I'm going to trickle down to the official plan, the zoning bylaw, and then finish with the case precedent in the broader context of this neighborhood for prevailing lots that have been approved by this committee, by TLAB and the OMB, so that you can feel comfortable that good planning practices are in place, and that you'll be compelled to agree with me that this is good planning for the future, and that we're excited to bring 2 new homes to Willowdale for families to enjoy living in, that I don't think destabilize the character of this neighborhood. I was sad, to say the least, when I received the staff comments on Friday, given that we've done quite a lot of work with staff leading to today, making sure our application was mature, the accuracy of all required variances identified. And we took a strategic pause after our zoning review to meet with staff, A1 Michael Romero, to discuss the context of approvals in this neighborhood and the prevailing lot patterns and dimensions and build form that contribute to the feel and character of Willowdale. And when we look backwards at what we approved, and when we, in speaking with staff about what needed to be adjusted, we made some adjustments, and we came back with an application that is very neat and very tidy in terms of the number of variances that are being requested. Going first to the consent criteria, the staff mentioned on 5124. I'm going to go through them with you, Mr. Chair, and briefly check off the spaces that I believe we satisfy. What you're missing from the staff report, and I say again with respect, because staff have a difficult job to accommodate a number of applications, is that what is working with this application instead of just what isn't, or what's of concern. And the effective development of the proposed subdivision doesn't apply to us. Whether the proposal is premature in the public interest doesn't apply. Whether the plan conforms to the official plan and adjacent plans to subdivision, I will iterate from section 4.15 and 4.1.5.9 from the official plan that this particular application, although it may not meet, according to staff's iterations of the prevailing dimensions and patterns, development in the established neighborhood does respect prevailing heights, prevailing dwelling types, setbacks. And the uniqueness of this lot is not to be questioned, because it's not a key lot. It's not a pie-shaped lot. It's a shotgun lot that has requests for deficient frontage and area that meets the intent of over 289 applications that I reviewed within 1 kilometer of the site. 39 of them meet or exceed the proposed density and the proposed lot area and frontage for this lot, namely on Pleasant, Grant Brook, Goulding, Hendon, Connaught, and Drury. I can take you to a variety of approvals from the community for greater deficiencies of frontage, greater deficiencies of lot area. But specifically speaking to the official plan, which is an important criteria of section C of the 5124 criteria to be considered for consent. It's important, I think, to recognize the lack of definition in the glossary for frequency and the lack of definition in the glossary for the official plan for prevailing. But when we get to exceptions in the margins on page 5 of chapter 4 of the official plan, and it reads, and I quote, "The type of dwellings permitted varies among geographic neighborhoods, and these detailed residential uses listed are contained in the established zoning bylaws, which will remain in place and establish the benchmark being the operative word for what is to be permitted in the future. If, for example, an existing zoning bylaw permits only single detached houses, and the prevailing building type in that neighborhood is single detached dwelling, then the plan's policies are to be interpreted to only allow those type of dwellings as well, so that we can respect and reinforce the established physical character of the neighborhood, except, and this is an important exception, except where the infill development policies of section 4.1.9 would be applicable." If we go to 4.1.9, it reads, and I established neighborhoods, infill development on properties that vary from the local pattern in terms of lot size, configuration, and orientation will, A, have heights, massing, and scale that are respectful of the permitted zoning, have setbacks,
Okay,
limitation regulations.
sir, I'll ask you to summarize your past 5 minutes.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping me.
Okay.
I'll summarize by saying, excuse me, would you like me to finish?
Well, summarize it fast, because if there's any questions, the members will ask you questions. So
Yes, of course.
please summarize.
I will summarize. Yes, I'll briefly summarize by suggesting that we are not one snowflake that should feel guilty in an avalanche of change. I think there is a future readiness to this application that fails to be addressed in the staff comments when it relates to the number of homes we have to build with modest densification so that more families can enjoy living in stable residential neighborhoods.
Okay.
And I believe this application.
All right, thank you.
For more.
Okay, thank you. So members, any question for the speaker? Questions?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't have a question, but I just have a comment.
Okay.
So I listened to the explanation, but still I haven't been convinced for the proposed lot area. We have a staff report that mentioned 666 lot in that area. Majority of the lots doesn't have the proposed lot area, and only 2 property which are adjacent to the Young Street have the similar lot area that the applicant proposed. Most of them are larger than the proposed lot size. Okay. So is there any explanation that why the applicant think that this is a good development?
Do you have a question for the speaker? No?
If the applicant want to explain more, because I haven't been convinced yet.
Okay. All right. Mr. Dale, could you please answer the question and elaborate on the question, because what you gave wasn't enough to make their mind up, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, appreciate the member's question. I'm sorry that the time constraints and provided didn't allow me enough to convince you, but I would like to respond to the lot area comment you're making from the staff report. I have 39 other examples of approvals from this committee of deficient lot area, and I have 7 in front of me that would approve a lot area greater, or I would say more deficient than what we're proposing that this committee has approved. All of which are within the broader context and within a 4-minute bike ride. I'm sorry, I'm a planner. I have to refer to things in terms of distance from a bicycle. And it is important that we recognize not only what measured growth looks like, but not just what the existing neighborhood lot area is, but what neighborhoods can enjoy modest growth. And this is a type of modest growth that doesn't allow us to just blindly follow the blanket assumptions of a zoning bylaw, but also interpret the provincial trend towards lots that are underutilized. And I don't think the staff comments mention the word provincial policy statement at all, nor do they talk about have deficient frontage that the committee has approved. Of the 666 that they approved, They don't give you a number of how many don't have. They just say there are some. And the area and the applications I can take you to are far greater than what I'm proposing, what my client's proposing. And so with the question from the member, Mr. Chair, about lot area and how deficient we are not the most efficient. The prevailing context is not a well-defined term in the official plan. And the shape, the setbacks, the density that we're requesting is not also in addition to area, or excuse me, in addition to coverage, setbacks, height. Most of the other applications have requested greater buildings on lots because they can, and we wanted to respect the modest densification of a lot that may not meet the intent of the zoning bylaw at first pass, but certainly meets the trend of what the province is respecting for more people to come and live in Willowdale. And we're not the greatest, or I should say, we're not the least area that this area has seen and been approved by the committee. And first question. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? If no question, maybe I need a motion. Mr. Khan? Mr. Khan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have engineering and construction report, and they have advisory note, but they have no objection. Similarly, transportation services has no objection, but the staff thinks differently, and I agree with the staff after listening to the presentation. So, Mr. Chair, through you, I make the motion that this application does not meet 4 tests and for minor variance of the Planning Act. Therefore, I move this application be refused.
Thank you. Second? You have second?
Thank you.
Application to be refused. Do I have a second? Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Okay, opposed?
I'm actually going to abstain. I was
Abstain.
having some technical difficulty.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that's unanimous among the 3, and Miss Manning is abstaining. So, sir, sorry, your application is refused, and you can discuss with the staff again. Okay.
Thank you for listening to me, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have number 3, which is 37 Rowley Avenue, and that's application number 3. And here we have Mr. Penskowski. Are you there?
Here, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. So the staff reported this as being deferred. Do you know where the mix-up came in?
I have no idea, Mr.
No
Chair.
idea. Okay, well, then sorry about that. I don't know why they had it there. So please go ahead. What do we have? We have here the new dwelling, 8 variances, forestry condition 1, and that's all I have. So you'll have 5 minutes, and could you please cover while the lot coverage goes from 35 to 39.94. 35 is a good number already, so please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Chair. If we bring up the site plan, the proposal is really for a new house of a trend that's occurring throughout this portion of Raleigh Avenue. If we look at the site plan, the dwelling essentially mimics the dwelling to the north in terms of the front yard as well as the rear yard setback. The building length is almost a meter under what is permitted under the zoning bylaw, and both side yard setbacks are also compliant with the zoning bylaw. In addition to the front yard setback being compliant, as well as the rear yard setback being compliant. So if we look at the parameters of the zoning bylaw that really dictate coverage and really speak to how a dwelling can be appropriated on a lot, there are no variance requests for any of them. Again, no side yard setback requests, no building length. Again, the building length, some 1 meter under what is permitted. Again, no rear yard setback, no front yard setback. Of those 8 variances, essentially 5 relate to basically the front stairs, as well as the rear platform and associated stairs, as well as an encroachment into the rear yard setback. So of those 8 variances, the 5 really just relate to kind of the access from the front and the rear. The only request that deals with the dwelling itself, again, is for the coverage that you spoke of, as well as the height of the main wall, which is modestly above the 7.5 meters that is permitted. Again, I believe that this house fits. As we can see here, it lines up essentially with the rear and the front wall of the newly developed dwelling to the north. Again, that dwelling to the south at 35 has not been redeveloped, again, which is part of a trend on the street. Again, I believe that this fits in with the character. That coverage and massing will fit with what's there. And again, that idea of where a building is appropriated on a lot fits very well within the community as well as within the zoning bylaw.
Okay.
We did, and also, sorry, Mr. Chair, I would note that we did work with staff throughout this process, because as you would see on the AIC, there are some revisions that came in at the beginning of August in order to satisfy staff.
Okay, thank you. We don't have anyone registered to speak, and I don't see anybody here in the chamber. So, members, any question for the speaker? If there is no question, I need a motion, please. Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have heard the presentation. It's a straightforward, simple application, and there is no staff recommendation for this application as well. And looks like a minor variance, and it should be approved with forestry conditions.
Your motion is to approve with forestry, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Second? Can I have second, please? Ms. Sankar seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to only forestry.
Thank you, committee.
Okay. Number 4, which is 58 Three Valley Drive, application number 4. And here we have Francis Kwashi. Are you there?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm here if you can hear me. My name is Francis Kwashi, and we are
Okay, so could you please, what's your address?
Our address is 7.
We need your name and address to be recorded on the system. So you said your name. Can I have your address, please?
The address is 750 Western Road, Woodbridge.
Thank you. Okay, so this is a 10-unit residential townhouse, and we have lots of documentation from June. We have staff report has modified. They're asking to modify variance number 5 from 5 meter to 5.5, and then there is a condition. Transportation has conditions only. TRCA, no objection, permit required. Forestry, condition 2 and 5. We have 8 letters of support, and some neighbors signed for letter of concern. So could you please make your presentation? We'll give you the 5 minutes, and then we'll call the other speakers, see what the problem is.
Thank you very much. Through you, Mr. Chair. As you rightly described, the proposal is for a 10-unit townhouse development. And the site was previously used as a gas station. And so we're essentially eliminating the gas station and introducing this 10-unit townhouse development. We have worked with city staff over the past 18 months to refine the proposal. As you can see in the supporting documentation, there's been a bit of back and forth in terms of refining some of the variances. And as you can tell from the staff report, there's really no opposition. It comes down to the setback on the east side. We're proposing 5.5 meters, and we're proposing 5 meters, and city staff is asking for 5.5 meters. In terms of the impacts, there's really no impacts, because one of the tools that the city uses in assessing infill development is what you call the townhouse guidelines. And those guidelines clearly state that when you have a new building above 11 meters, you need a separation distance. I don't know if your staff can put my presentation online, because they're not showing the presentation right now. If you can please put it. So just to continue from where I left off, essentially comes down to Yes, that's the presentation. So those are the subject lands of Laurentide Drive and then Three Valleys. Next slide, please. And so what you have in red are the variances that we're seeking for, the variances pertaining to the setbacks pertaining to relative to the property lines. There are variances pertaining to the frontage, which is an existing condition as well. Move on to the next slide, please. And so really, the bone of contention here is that's setback to the east property line. As I was saying, if you look at the facing distance from building to building, it is 15 meters, which is essentially what the city usually looks for when you're having such infill developments. In terms of the setback itself that we're asking for, it's 5 meters. And then if you look at it, it's essentially similar to the setback that exists from the townhouse to the east. You can also tell that there's a difference in grade, so that the subject lands are lower than the existing building. And so if you look at the 45-degree angular plane, which is one of the metrics that the city uses in determining compatibility, the bulk of the building is within the 45-degree angular plane. So you only have a minor projection at the corner. So essentially, what you have here is a condition that allows sunlight, protects privacy. You can see trees between the proposed building and the existing building. And as a matter of fact, there's also another slide which shows the existing condition around the townhouses. The townhouses, if you look at the actual setback, there are photos that we submitted, if staff can show the photos. So the actual setback, if you look at it critically, is 5 meters, which is similar to what we are proposing. Within that setback area, there's actually a public sidewalk, a public walkway that residents of the townhouses actually use. So in terms of privacy, we believe that the proposal as we're proposing is essentially consistent or maintains the intent of the official plan. In terms of the zoning bylaw, it maintains the intent as well. In terms of the desirability, in comparison with a gas station and what we're proposing now, staff accepts and staff supports the proposal that it's a much more better development or much more better use of subject lands. In terms of whether it meets the test of minor, if you look at each of the variances individually and cumulatively, it is relatively minor. And so I'd say that in terms of what we contribute, given the housing affordability crisis, this proposal actually is a step in the right direction in terms of optimizing the use of the lands and providing additional housing, which the city needs currently. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Now we have, we'll be back to you. We have a few people who want to speak, and we'll get you back, okay? So we have here Mikhail Beluz Nigo. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi. Could you please state your name and address for us, please?
Hi. I'm Mihai Beluz Neagu on 56 building. And
okay, so
I have some...
can you tell us what's your concern about this application?
Yes, sir. I think it's an interesting application, but it's trying to push too much housing in a small perimeter. This means it's obvious starting from each difference compared with bylaw. It's too ambitious. In the what sense? The maximum permitted for lot coverage is 25%. He's going for 41.4. This is a ratio of 6 to 10. 6 is the legal, he's trying to do 10. Almost suggesting like he's trying to do 10 houses there. Potentially it's placed only for 6. I will continue with other violation of the current. It's setback for the yard setback. It's supposed to be 7.5. On Block B, and why I'm referring on Block B, the one closest to the existing townhouses, it's only 5. This is a very important thing for the person living on the east side, on the existing development right now. In what sense? The distance is smaller, from 7.5 to 5 for the yard. For height, the new development will be considerably higher. This means the distance to the existing development is smaller than it should be, and also the new building will be higher. These are facing the west side. These higher buildings, what will be closer than legally to existing building, will block totally the light. The painting, what he provided in the presentation, it's very nice, but it's not realistic. You have a higher building, very close to the existing one, blocking the light. What exactly will happen? All the residents or current residents will suffer, will not have any more light. Their value of the property will decrease because of that. All what I'm saying, everywhere exists a push for more, even on the yard development. The legal part is to be 6 meters. He's choosing to have only 3.5. I will end my thing here just telling it. It's ambition project, too many buildings on existing lot. My suggestion is a tone down will be very appreciated and will not affect the current residents and will not affect their value of the properties. This is it from me, Mihai Beloz, finished.
Thank you. Any question for the speaker? No? Okay. Next is Liliana Mihaela. Are you there? Liliana Mihaela Nigo.
I apologize, can you hear me?
Okay, can you please state your name and your address?
Positive. My name is Liliana Mihaela Beleuz-Neagu, and I live at 46 Tree Valleys.
Okay. And
so I'm in the current buildings over there, and I'm very concerned on this ambitious project, mainly on the following categories. On the number 5, on the chapter 16.2, considering the rear yard being 30% proposed shorter than what should be. On the point number 9, chapter 6.9, on the canopies, it's again very restricted versus the official rules. And my next big concerns are related with the required side yard, which is again cut in half versus the law. And chapter 6.9, porches, decks, and canopies, which is much restricting than the law. So again, as the previous gentleman mentioned, it's actually, this is impacting the quality of the life of the current residents. And while I'm looking forward for something to replace the current gas station, I think proper buildings should be there, respecting the rules, not impacting everyone living in that area. Thank you very much. I'm done.
thank you. Yeah, let's see if there are any question. No question. Okay, next is Caroline Ring. Are you there? Caroline Ring. Caroline is registered.
Hi, can you hear?
Yeah, hi. Could you
Can
please
you hear me?
Yeah, your name and your address, please.
Oh, hi, I'm Carolyn Ring, and I live at 54 Three Valleys Drive, Unit 5.
Okay, and what's your concern? Anything different from what has been said?
Nothing really different than what's been said. I actually don't live in the building that's being affected, but I am curious to hear what the planning representative has to say about those two variances. A couple of questions I have, and you'll have to let me know if they're appropriate for this committee, is more in line with environmental issues. I'm just wondering, because the existing property has a gas station on it, what the process is to ensure that there's a proper assessment and process in place to ensure that any environmental concerns would be addressed before building. And also, I'm new to this process. I've never had a building being constructed next door to me. Just wondering about security concerns, whether cameras will be set up at any point and fencing. I think that's really it, except I wasn't aware of the fact that I'm very happy to have townhouses come into that area. I think it's a great use of property. I wasn't actually aware of it until I got the letter in August informing me. It seems like other people in the community knew about it beforehand, so I'm not sure how that works or how I would have known about it earlier as well. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you're right. Some of the questions, we don't deal with them here. We deal with the variances. So we see any question for this speaker? Okay, so Francis, could you please come back? Yeah. Oh.
Hi, my name is Maurice.
Your name and your address, please.
Maurice Anderson. My address is 5 Brookbanks Drive, Unit 806, Toronto.
And you want to speak in relation to this apartment?
That's correct, 58 Three Valleys. I live on the street over.
Please go ahead.
So I believe that it will be a great addition to the neighborhood. I believe whenever we can actually add an infill development to a community, it will only cause better, better environment to the neighborhood, because right now there is a gas station. I heard the concerns for a couple of the members when it comes to the variance, but I believe that the individual or the developer that's trying to build on these lands have been working on it for about 18 months or so. And the fact is, with the recent with the recent implementation of immigration policies that have been implemented for Canada, there's an influx of population coming into the country, and we don't have enough housing supply to build enough homes for those people to live in. We've had a lot of refugees that have come into Canada. Some of them have had housing given to them in support. Others are currently living on the street downtown Toronto. With this development being built, hopefully, even though it's a small portion of homes going into this area, 10 townhomes at that, I do believe it will add value to the neighborhood, because there's currently a gas station. It has been a staple in the community for about 30 years or so, 20 or 30 years. Adding more housing for people to live in, where there's not a lot of homes being sold right now in this area, will allow people to enjoy the area that I myself live in, my daughter lives in, and will be able to give them a place to actually afford to buy. The homes in this area are very expensive. It is a staple, I believe, in Ontario as well, because one of the first communities that were built after the post-war, and adding to that historic value would only improve the area as a whole, in my belief and understanding.
Thank you.
So I hope it does get built.
Thanks for your presentation.
No problem.
Any question for
Thanks for your time.
No? Thank you. Okay. Anybody? I don't see anybody here. I thought you were working here. That's okay. Okay, Francis Kouachi, can you come back here, please?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'd like you to address those
you have.
concerns. And I didn't get I didn't get very well your comment regarding the change from that the staff is asking from 5 meter to 5 meter to 5.5 meters. Are you changing it, or you don't want to do?
So we are through you, Mr. Chair, we are of the opinion that 5 meters is essentially reasonable to support the proposed development. It is similar to other infill developments that the city has approved, either through minor variance or through a rezoning process. Now, we've taken a careful look at the relationship between the proposed development at Block B and the adjacent townhouses. And so, as I explained previously, one of the metrics that the city uses is that a combination of setbacks and angular planes, as well as facing distances between the main wall of a new building and an existing building. And based on the city's own guidelines with respect to townhouses, we are of the opinion that we are consistent in terms of the separation distance from building wall to building wall, which if you see in my presentation, that is not currently before you, it's approximately 15 meters. And also it's important to note that we do have some pictures which are not being shown, is that at the townhouses, actually, the actual setback is similar to what we have, which is approximately 5 meters. And within that setback area, there's actually a common walkway behind all the townhouse units. So when we speak of privacy, you have a situation where you have a setback, you have a rear yard condition, yet there's a common walkway that cuts across that rear yard setback. So those are facts in terms of the existing condition. In terms of overlook, we don't believe there's going to be an issue of overlook. If you look at the grades in terms of differences, you can tell that you can see that the grades for the subject properties are actually lower in terms of the patio and rear yard areas. So in terms of overlook, there shouldn't be an issue. In terms of the actual units on level 2 and 3, they are just essentially living spaces, a dining area and a bedroom. I find it hard to believe that anyone will, stand continuously in their bedroom and overlook or look into anyone else's backyard. So on the balance of what we're proposing, in terms of removing a gas station and introducing 10 residential units, we believe it's an appropriate use of the subject lands. Bear in mind that community planning, have not opposed the proposal. Transportation services have also not opposed the proposal, and the same thing applies to urban forestry as well. So all in all, I believe it's the proposal is, brings forward a positive impact into the neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Okay, so to summarize here, you gave a long dissertation about my question. I asked you for a simple question. Are you changing from 5 to 5.5? Yes or no? That's all I want to know.
Yes, we are of the opinion that 5 meters is sufficient.
You're changing it. Okay, thank you.
No.
All right, members, any question? Ms. Manning?
I still have a bit of concern regarding the height. Can you provide an explanation for why that variance is necessary?
Through you, Mr. Chair, in terms of the height, it's essentially a modern design in terms of the townhouses that we're proposing. So if you look at the frame of the roof, it essentially takes a portion of the overall height of the building. In terms of its impact, it actually has no impact on anyone in terms of, its relationship with the property to the east. Again, when you look at the grade differences, marginally, there's just a marginal difference between the townhouses, the existing townhouses, and what we're proposing. So that's essentially what accounts for that extra height.
Any other question? Okay, if there's no more question, can I have a motion there, please? Ms. Manning, please go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. Listening to the applicant's arguments, I believe that this application meets the 4-part test.
And the condition?
And subject to the conditions of transportations and to the conditions in the staff report as well. And urban forestry.
Forestry. Thank you. Second?
Mr. Chair.
As amended.
Yeah, Mr. Katz.
Yeah, he has to read the conditions set forth by the staff.
What did he say? Could you please repeat that?
Read the conditions set forth by the staff. They're in the report.
Madam, you have to read the conditions set forth by the staff.
Yeah, there is a condition.
There are three conditions.
There's the staff condition.
My motion includes those conditions.
Are you changing the 5?
Thank you.
And including changing the 5.5 meters to 5 meters.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khan. Yeah, Ms. Manning, motion is to cover the transportation, the forestry, and the staff report. And the condition is modify 5 to 5.5 and the condition, and be the condition. So, Ms. Tarodi, seconding? Yeah, thank you.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to those conditions, including the staff report condition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Application number 5, which is 38 Howard Drive. Application number 5. And here we have Dr. Dylan Cyrus. Are you there, Cyrus?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Could you please state your name and address?
My name is Ryan Cyrus, 4789 Young Street, Unit 1212, Picta Architects.
Thank you. This is a new dwelling. We have 4 variances. Staff report just a condition there to build per east elevation drawing. TRCA just permit required and forestry number 1. However, we need you to make a presentation because we have one more speaker here to speak on this item, okay? So please go, you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Good morning. I was hoping this application is straightforward, just like other houses that we have designed, but similar variances. Basically, height of the walls that is required for modern design of the house. And it only required at the front of the building, and return of the walls for a couple of feet. Setbacks, we have ravine. It's not ravine, it's water floodplain that is affecting a part of back of the lot. Therefore, we need the setback. So we need to basically come forward. The coverage is normal 32%. We have spoken with staff in planning, and I understand that there is no issue with our design. They have set forward a condition that we comply. We have spoken with TRCA. They have no condition. There was a misunderstanding, but it's we believe that we are in agreement. Either way, we have to be complying with all the requirements that they may have. TPPR would like us to put a permit for trees. We have to comply with those, and we will comply. I guess there's nothing else that I can
Okay, thank you.
speak of about it.
That's fine. Let's see what the speaker have to say. Hagog Torosian, are you there?
Yeah.
Hagog,
Can you hear me?
Please state your
Yeah.
name. Your name.
My
and
name is
address.
Jack Torosian. My name is Jack Torosian, and my address is 36 Howard Drive. I'm the next door neighbor.
Thank you. And tell us what's your concern about this application.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving us this opportunity, and thank you, panelists. I just want to welcome our new neighbor to Bayview Village. However, I have some minor concerns, and one being the wall height variance, because he's asking for a wall height variance and overall height variance, so it's reaching almost to 1 meter. I suggest if you see reasonable to go with either or reduce or both at the point where everybody will be happy. And that's it from my side.
That's it? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Any question for the speaker? Okay, so we'll get back Mr. Tarosian. Could you come back, please? See if you can address that concern.
I'm Ryan Cyrus. I'm the presenter, the agent. Thank you very much for the question, and hi to the neighbor. The height that we requested is actually the old bylaw. Technically, it's not a concern of the city anymore. It's taken out, but I put it there just because we put it for all our houses, and it hasn't been a concern. Just to respond is that we are not we are not requesting any height over zoning bylaw, which is 10 meters. We are not going over that. The only thing that we are asking is the height of the main wall, and that's because we are, just like his house, we are designing a relatively modern house, and that's why we need to raise our main wall, and that's the only height that we are requesting.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this speaker? No? If not, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I've listened to the presentation of the applicant, and I believe that these 4 variances meet the 4-part test. I'd like to make a motion to approve this application, subject to the conditions of forestry.
Okay. And staff report?
And subject to the conditions of the staff report as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Manning. Second, Mr. Khan, all in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Sir, your application is approved unanimously, subject to the to conditions like forestry and the staff report per east elevation drawing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Application number 7, which is 31 Wilfred Avenue. And here we have Victor Gitberg. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chairman. My name is Victor Gitberg.
Your address?
Yeah, I'm architect, and I'm representing the owner of number 31 Guilford.
Okay. Yeah, your own address is Belvedere, right?
Yes, I'm at 33 Belvedere Crescent in Richmond Hill.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have here, we don't have anybody else to speak. Just you. We have here is a new dwelling, 5 variances, but they have one, there is one 3-story. Staff report is asking only to develop a north and south side elevation drawing. Transportation condition only. We have 3 letters of support and just 1 letter of objection. So, could you please make up a 5-minute, we'll give you up to 5-minute presentation to tell us the merit of this application.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, the application, like we work with staff on matter of south and north elevation, because basically they acknowledge that variance is related to certain portion of the elevation which is visible, east and west elevations visible from the site, and they were okay with this, but they ask us to lower the main eaves line to below 8 meters, which we did, and that's why staff is asking if committee approve our variances to attach those elevations to the decision as a condition. As it was mentioned in transportation report, we utilizing existing driveway, and it's probably for this particular lot is most appropriate location for the driveway from the front of the lot rather than from the flankage. It also protect boulevard trees, which on the flankish side. And variant number 3 is 32% coverage, which is quite typical for the area, been approved many times, sort of limit which we are not trying to exceed. And lastly, the two last variances, as you know, they're related to new first floor definition approved by municipal board earlier this year, which makes our basement considered as a first floor because of the height in relation to established grade. But in reality, it's still two-story house, and basically the only letter of objection we have from the next door neighbor. They misunderstood the concept that the house will be a real 3-story, and when the owner explained them, you have a letter saying that they sort of withdraw the objection, and we have 3 letters of support from other neighbors. So that's basically, in short, my presentation. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer.
Okay, we'll see what questions do we have. Any questions for the speaker? No? Ms. Sataruddin?
Yes, if there is no question from my colleague, I'm ready to put forward a motion.
Yeah, now I'm calling for the motion.
Yes, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with only one staff condition that mentioned on the, but then it doesn't show.
Staff report.
Staff report. Sorry, for whatever reason, it doesn't show. My computer froze.
And condition of transportation.
So just hold on a second. So I withdraw my motion. Sorry, my computer froze.
What's that? You're withdrawing your...
I withdraw my motion because my computer froze. I don't have the exact condition in front of me.
All right, thank you. Yeah, today we have some problem with the technical computers. Anyone, so can I have a motion there, please?
I can go back. It's working.
You're okay now?
Yes, sorry for the problem. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with one staff condition mentioned on August 17, 2023, that the building length be developed in accordance with the site plan drawing and the east-west side elevation drawing attached to the report on August 17, 2023. No.
There was transportation conditions.
Sorry, that was for, sorry, I withdraw my motion. That's a problem.
Withdraw again, yeah? Okay, well, we're sorry for the technicalities here. It's nobody's fault. We have a computer. Okay, can I have a motion there, please? Somebody, Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, sir. First of all, I would like to have variance number 2, which has been modified from 8.73 to 7.9 meter. Is it so?
The variance itself wasn't modified. We modified the height of the main line of the eaves. So we lowered the eaves line, but a variance stays because some of the, as I mentioned in the staff report, some of the portions of the front elevation are visible from the side elevations. So that's what contribute to the variance. Staff was okay with it, but they asked us to lower the main eaves line to below 8 meters. Originally, it was over 8 meters. So that was the reason we attached those 2 sketches to the application, modified side elevations, where the height is 7.9 meters, but I think it does not affect the variance because variance is still applicable to the visible portions of the front and rear elevation.
Sir, with due respect to you, I simply want to know whether it is 7.9 or not.
Okay, so that question was answered, right? Okay, so he answered the question. Any other question? If there is no more question, Ms. Manning has a motion, please. Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I had some concerns, but the applicant has convinced me that this is a technical variance. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this application, subject to the conditions in the transportation report. And the staff report.
And staff report. Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar seconding first. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Khan, are you for or opposing?
I am for it. Approve it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is approved, subject to the conditions of this staff report and the transportation.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, I asked them if a break. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you both of them at the same time. Okay, so we're going to take a break of 10 minutes about, and we'll be back. Oh, so you purchased it. I see. Okay. Well, when I built my house, I was very conscious about avoid community climate shadow.
No, it's not that deep, it's just some people might not understand.
It's coming, it's extended by 2 years.
It's definitely.
Been a problem. Some of the,
You need to be resident on Ontario. My brother's a citizen. He's 91. His grandmother. And she's been a citizen for 50 years. So they always went back and forth. And my grandfather's passed now for like almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years. And she's 91. And she's I'm a parent. I'm a mother. And they will live with her. They want to stay with every other night from the night. And she's comfortable and we had to take her license for like way back. She was just really upset. Well, my mom's cousin, she said this is what, but she's a lawyer for training, and she had to call, they had to call my grandmother and
no, I understand.
her license. And she did a stop line, she was so mad.
Also, my concerns are that perhaps takes away sunlight or something. Obviously, the west facing. So it's really house that juts out on the 5 houses there. This one was sticking out. Well,
That's just not for yours.
2 houses are over 6 houses. They're all cemetery.
The day they were close. It has to add up. But they do.
Yeah, if you look west, my property, west, it's basically so this house is going to be cut out 2 meters past the back. The cemetery
sunlight have anything like that, so, you know, that's why, and I know my neighbor at 271 has the same issues, and it's an issue too. Especially on the sunlight side, I guess, it's not just, like, for you, your point of view, that's why we're here. Yeah, I. Yeah. No, I know. I understand that. I'm just, yeah, I'm Jerry. Nice to meet you. Yeah, no, yeah. You're lucky the tree was signed. You know what I mean? I saw it. Yeah, lucky. No, I know, I was thinking about that. I didn't have a tree on mine. It was a big bush. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't see everybody.
Yeah. No, they make you. They made me come to churches once. I got to choose. I don't. Oh, yeah, that's it. No, I got to choose 20 trees, I remember. I made a good choice, but I chose a ginkgo.
Number 8.
Yeah, I don't get that. And it's slow growing too. It's slow growing too. You know, I don't want trees too big, because trees can be so.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're resuming our session here. And the next one is application number 8, which is 20 York Valley Crescent. And here we have Mr. David Bronscale. Are you there? Mr. Bronscale? For application number 8, 20 York Valley Crescent, application number 8 for Mr. Bronscale. Are you there? Okay, so we'll be back to him, okay? We'll go to the next one, and please remind me to go to this one here. Application number 9, which is 451 Cranbrook Avenue, application number 9. And here we have Hossein Muhtari. Are you there?
Yes. Good morning, Chair.
Good morning. Your name and your address, please.
My name is Hossein Mokhtari. The address is 14 Page Avenue, North York, Ontario.
Thank you. This is a new dwelling. We have 6 variances. Staff report is asking to modify variance number 2, 3, and 4 per the applicant, and we have 2 letters of objection. Now, before we move on, please make your presentation 5 minutes because we have 2 more people to speak here. And before you start, could you please give us the exact changes you're making as to the variances?
Yeah, sure.
Variance number 2.
Yes, variance number 2, proposed building height reduced from 10.7 to 10.45 meter.
Okay.
Variance number 3, proposed side main wall height reduced from 8.26 to 8.01 meter.
Okay.
Variance number 4, proposed side main wall height reduced from 8.26 to 8.01 meter.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, that's it. And yeah, and the staff said just develop her elevation drawing. So please go ahead and make your presentation. I'll give you the 5 minutes, and then we'll hear what the neighbors have to say.
Yeah, actually, we had a conversation with the planning staffs, and we had made revision according to their recommendation to improve the number of variances, reflecting on the latest drawings submitted, as you can find them. This is pretty much a standard and a straightforward application that falls into compliance with what has been redeveloped in the area. With the mentioned revision previously, as you can find in the planning staffs, they have no oppositions to the application, and it is since it is very typical to the area. I would be happy to answer any question if there is any.
Okay, so you're done. We'll hear what the other speakers have to say. First of all, in the chamber, anybody for this application here? For application number 9 for 451 Cranbrook? No? Okay, so we have online, we have here Doris Chang. Are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, could you
Hi,
please?
Mr. Chairman, and
Yeah, Miss.
sorry.
Okay. Miss Chan, your system is echoing. Could you please check and have only one device on so we can hear with no echoing?
Yes, I'm trying. Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Now it's okay. So please repeat your name and
No, it's okay. Thank you. Okay, hi, my name is Doris Chen. My address is 449 Cranbrook Avenue. It's on the applicant's east side.
Thank you. So tell us what's your
Of the
concern.
property.
What's your concern about this application?
Yes. Okay, my concern is the green. Let me see where am I? Oh, just a second. I left it.
I think we lost you again.
Okay, I'm sorry. So my concern is, okay, if the building is going to be like elevate, so that means I have less green space, and then the water absorb is a big problem for me because I also have a down slope driveway. So what I saw, like what you are going to do is to change to flip, like they used to have the front entrance and the driveway, and now you flip it over. So that means that next to my driveway will be your driveway next to me. But I don't know whether you noticed that we have a Roger post with a transformer, which is like a white big tent on top of it. So if the post, why I make this concern is because from my past experience and with the architect, if there is a post with the Roger cable, the big tank, they won't suggest me to flip the drawing. So what if there is a hazard, like, you know, and of course I don't want them to move the post to my property, but my concern is the driveway that we are, you know, are next to each other, and in between there is a Roger cable post with a big white tank, which is, I think, is a transformer. So would that be a hazard to my property? So that is my concern. And let me see what else I want to. Yes, and you see the driveway, because I have a down slope driveway. So the snow in the winter, it made me a big trouble. Even somebody will help me a little bit, but I still have to clean up. And where do I dump the snow? Of course, it's next to you, but the driveway next door, which my old house is like that before. Like, all we can do is push all the snow back to the road, which is also my concern too. So basically, is there a way that not to flip the drawing, you know? And then the second thing is, like, last year I was with you too, the COA, about the new building on my east side. So, like, they also have the water spout getting close to my property. And because they are elevated, the water now, they are not fixed yet, right? The water, all the water comes to my property. So my concern is, I don't really like to have a big building that on my east side already block my sun, and then going to the west side, and then you are asking to exceed the city limit again, you know, and the width and the depth. So that would be my concern. Another concern is about the air conditioning. So, okay, let's talk about my east side. The new building have two big air conditioning on their west side. So the new house on the new house that is east side is going to put their air conditioning too. So what is my concern is there will be 5 air conditioning surrounding my house. So my concern will be the noise that, you know, created by 5 air conditioning, the heat, and the air quality, which I consider is the pollution. So my husband have a problem with sleeping. And then, you know, as we're aging, you know, like we don't want to have, sometimes we don't want the air conditioner. And then he can't open the window. That means because 2 air conditioners is right next to him. And then already he has a sleeping problem. So that will be basically my concern.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, just a second. I don't like to interrupt you. Some of these concerns we can't answer on them. I'll have the agent come back and see if he can address those concerns. My question to you is, on the same address as you are, there is William Lay. Is he with you?
Oh yes, he can use his. Just a second.
So you spoke for the two of you,
Yeah.
right?
Can you turn on? Yeah. Can you? You want to use mine? Oh.
Hi, good morning, Jen. Hi, good morning, sir. Yeah.
Can you please state your name and address? And your address, I guess, is the same.
Yeah, my name is. Yes. Yeah, address is 449 Cranbrook. The same with Doris.
Same. Okay.
I'm her husband.
Okay.
My name is William Lai, L-A-I. Yeah.
Okay. And she spoke. Do you still have something to add, or you're okay with what she said?
Basically on the same subject. I guess my focus is more on the environmental impact on the variances, and namely the elimination of natural surfaces that will soak up rainwater runoffs. Our situation is that the current structure on the lot that's being proposed is a small one-story bungalow with lots of open spaces, meaning there are lots of drainage right now. However, the proposed structure would reduce the coverage, the open spaces by more than 50%. I think it's going to reduce a lot. because again the coverage is over the limit, as well as the front yard landscaping area. And in addition, they're going to install a pool at the back area. So the front and the back, all the open spaces will be eliminated.
Okay.
So we worry when it's heavy run for all the water, where is it going to? There's no space for it to go to except to lower elevation, which is our property.
Okay.
So it's going to
Mr.
run
Lai.
off into our area.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. So I guess we got it. We'll have the agent come back and see if she can answer some of those questions. Okay. So thank you. And any question for the speaker? No question. Okay. Hussein, please come back.
Yeah.
Okay. So please see if you can address some of those concerns, and we have to move on.
Sure. Sure. With respect to their concerns, actually, regarding the green space and the driveway, as you can find in the front, there is a city tree, and we just had a very close collaboration with the urban forestry. They just actually asked us to keep that tree. Regarding to preserve that tree, we had to reverse the driveway to the other sides. And that was the reason that the driveway right now is on the left side of the house. And also regarding the on the backyard, also in order to preserve the healthy tree on the backyard, we accepted to remove the tree. We have been revised the arborist report and have been submitted to the urban forestry. Now they are satisfied with our application. So no longer there's no pool on the backyard. So there would be sufficient green space provided for the property.
Okay, thank you. Let's see if there's any questions. Any questions for this agent? If no speaker, if no agent, if no motion, if no questions, can I have a motion there? And see if your computer works this time. Okay, Ms. Satarodi, please go ahead.
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 2, the proposed building height is now 10.45 meter. Variance number 3, the proposed side exterior main wall height is now 8.01 meter. And variance number 4, the proposed side exterior main wall height is now 8.01. And I also would like to add the staff condition that the proposed be developed in accordance with the submitted site plan and elevation drawing as shown in attachment 1, 2, 3 of the report dated August 15, 2023, and with a no other condition.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is approved unanimously, subject to staff condition and the changes you just made. Okay?
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Now we go back to number 8, see if the people are here. Mr. Bronskill, are you there?
Mr. Chair, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we called you before and we couldn't find you. Okay.
I could hear you, sir, but you could not hear me. I think it was a problem on my end,
So
obviously.
it's all set. Okay, thank you. So, okay, we have here a, you know what, for the system, just repeat your name and address so it can be recorded on the system, please.
Absolutely, Mr. Chair. Last name is Bronskill, Bronskill, first initial D for David. Address is 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400 in Toronto, and appearing as agent for the applicant, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So we have here the new dwelling, 3 variances. Staff report is asking just for a condition to build per elevation drawing, and recommendations. TRCA has recommendations only, and urban forestry is asking to deny variance number 1. I don't know if I got that straight. Could you please address that one, see why I understand the forestry had some problem with the length. That is, you're 16.8, you're asking for 26.74, and the urban forestry said they deny number one. So could you please cover all that in a small presentation?
I can, sir. And if staff, so you could see the site plan, page 2 of the short presentation we put in, we have had a subsequent correspondence with Ravine staff about the tree. It's actually a tree that sits on the neighbor's property. It's a sizable tree that generates, a fairly significant tree protection zone. If you see the green dash, which is the existing house, the corner, that top left corner of the existing house actually extends today into the tree protection zone. So there will be some injury to that tree, but we are proposing to retain that tree and not remove it. And we have confirmed that with staff. We've also indicated to staff that as part of the permit application, we would not do a traditional foundation excavation, which has you, for example, dig 10 to 12 feet away from the wall, but we would do a different form of excavation that would essentially, instead of having that more lengthy excavation, we would underpin the existing foundation to keep it, to minimize penetration in that tree protection zone. And we've also indicated to staff that the terrace that's there that would be in the tree protection zone would be removed. Obviously, staff don't have the opportunity now to move their opposition.
Did we lose you again?
That they recommended to be imposed on any approval that would require us to submit a complete application to injure that tree. That's the process that we would provide all of this additional information to staff so that they could sign off on it. But we are keeping that tree, and we think we've got a process to minimize the injury, which would be evaluated by staff as part of that permit application. So I hope that addresses that comment, Mr. Chair, and then I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, so we don't have anybody else registered here, unless any speaker in the house here? No? Okay, there's nobody here and nobody online, so members, any question for the speaker?
Oh, and sorry, Mr. Chair, I should have said, apologies for jumping in. I should have said we're completely supportive of the condition from planning staff.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
I have a question for city staff.
Please.
I'm just wondering, because he said he was going to remove the terrace. Does tying it to the site plan, does that complicate anything?
Sorry, he's removed, it's been amended to,
I thought the applicant just said that he was going to remove the terrace. The terrace would be removed, but the staff report is asking for it to be tied to the site plan in the east and west elevations. So is making changes possible?
can I just clarify through the applicant if the change to the terrace affects the variance that the staff report is referencing?
It would not affect the variance. The terrace would remain. It would just have a slightly decreased, if I could call it, a slightly increased setback from the property line where that tree is located. So I think being substantially in accordance with the site plan and slightly reducing the terrace to accommodate the tree, I think we would be fine dealing with buildings and explaining that to them. I appreciate the question. And I don't think I was clear in indicating it's just a small reduction of the terrace on that extent.
Okay. Any question, members? No? Can I have a motion then, please? Anyone for a motion? With those
So, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Tarodi, you had your hand up.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with one staff condition mentioned on August 17, 2023 report, that the building length be developed in accordance with the site plan drawing and the east and west side elevation drawing attached to the report. Also, I can see that TRCA also have some condition. I would like to also attach it to
TRC.
those conditions, and that is my motion.
Thank you. Second. Ms. Manning, seconding. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. So, sir, your application is approved unanimously, subject to those conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Item number 10, which is 187 Haddington Avenue. And this is 187 Haddington. We have here Nafise Zamziani. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, this is Nafise Zangiabadi, 30 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill. I'm the applicant.
Thank you. And your address is 30 Apple?
30 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill.
Thank you. Okay, you're the agent here. And we have here a new dwelling, 6 variances. Staff report, just a condition. And see if there's anybody here to speak. Anybody here locally to speak to this application? No. And online we don't have anybody. So could you just make a very, very short presentation and address the coverage of 30%, and you're asking 35.97 and the 3-story. So please make a short.
Yes, sure.
So cover that one, please.
Yes, so this is a application to construct a new 2-story dwelling. Variances that we're asking are within the approved decision in the neighborhood. 2 of them are technical variances, the variance for the 3-story dimension, and variance number 5 for the deck because of the new definition of the basement, whereas the building itself physically is a 2-story. And if you look at the supporting material that we submitted, and if the staff could pull that up, you can see that the house is fit within the immediate context of the Haddington Avenue streetscape. And all the neighbors, as you can see, are 2-story, and we are the only bungalow that is left. And as for the coverage that you asked, it's very compatible with what has been approved in the neighborhood. I have the list of the coverage that has been approved in the neighborhood. 397 Elm Road, approved at 39.3. 155 Brook Avenue, approved at 37.7. 447 Cranbrook Avenue, 36.4. 65 Bannockburn Avenue, 35.4. 492 Fairlawn Avenue, 35.2. 70 Dunblane Avenue, 34.6. 297 Joycey Boulevard, 30.4, and 295 Joycey, 34.4. So as you can see, our proposed coverage is within the context of the neighborhood. There's no side setback, front yard setback, or rear setback variance. And that little 15 centimeters for the height that we're asking is just for a small portion of the roof at the top, where the entire, the majority of the roof complies with the 10-meter height. We have no objection from our neighbors. The staff has no concern, and they just ask for decision to be tied to the drawings. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there is.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? If not, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, a motion to approve this application. I think these variances are minor, and in regards to the 3-story, it is a technical variance, and that approval should be subject to the conditions of the staff report, which state that the building will be developed substantially in accordance with the building elevation plans.
Thank you. Second? Second? Okay, I have 2 seconds here. Okay, Miss Manning, Miss Manning is first, and Miss Atarodi seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Sankar, for or against? For? Thank you. Okay, so unanimously, your application is approved, subject to that staff condition.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, for our next item, we do have people in the chambers.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, we have item number 11, 269 Saint Germain Avenue. It's an application number 11, and then we have, here we have 11, Nafise Zamdiani again, Nafise?
Yes.
Zandiabi, you're again?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so.
Yes, I'm the applicant.
Okay, so we have here a new dwelling, 4 variances, 1 letter of objection, duplicate, okay? And we have few people to talk, so we'd like you to make a short presentation, please, as to the merit of the
Sure.
application.
Sure. This is an application to construct a new 2-story dwelling. We are only asking for 4 variances. Out of these 4, 3 are either technical or are related to the existing condition of the site, and one of them is, as we submitted the precedent to the committee and the planning staff, are within the approved decisions in the neighborhood. So variance number 4 for the soft landscaping is because we have a right-of-way at the front, and that part of driveway will be considered the hard landscaping. So that is the variance for soft landscaping is triggered. And the variance number 2 for the floor space index is technical because of the new definition of the basement. Basement is included in the calculation, whereas if we just include main floor and second floor, our FSI would be 66.9, which is within the range of the neighborhood. I have a few addresses here that are submitted to the planning, and I appreciate if they can pull up the presentation that we submitted. I have 10 addresses here with the. If you go down, I have the number for the approved GFA. If you go down, yes, it's here. So you can see the list of the addresses with the GFA of close to what we're proposing. We're proposing 66.92, and you can see almost all of them are within this range and even more than what is permitted. And the reason that our number is 0.93 is just because of the basement included in the deviation. Variance number 3 for the roof eaves is just we need at least 1 foot for the proper drainage. I should mention that the sidewall is not a variance itself, and since we needed a foot projection for the eaves, that's why it triggered this variances. And then we have variance number 1 for the length, and it is within the approved decisions in the neighborhood, so it is within the character of the neighborhood. There's also no setback variance, no height variance, and staff has no concern. I'm happy to hear what our neighbors say.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, so are you finished? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm
Okay.
happy to hear what our neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll hear the other people who want to speak. I guess we have somebody in the chamber here. Anybody would like to speak? Please go to the mic there and tell us what's your concern about this application.
Okay. Thank you.
Please state your name and address for us,
Yeah.
please.
My name is Jerry Wimmer, owner of 267 Saint Germain, directly east of the property and subject.
Okay, and tell us what's your concern, please.
Yeah, I've got a couple of concerns. The first concern is the depth of the building proposed. It's going to extend 2 meters beyond my property. I have a couple issues with that. Associated with the depth of the building is also a deck that's elevated in the proposal that actually extends out further 4 meters. My issues with increasing the depth of this proposed house, first of all, it's going to take away sunlight from my windows on the west side of the house and on the south side of the house. Also, the proposed increase to the depth is not in conjunction with the neighborhood in terms of the entire south side of Saint Germain. All houses, if you look from 263 all the way on, have the same amount of depth. So this building is going to be jutting out 2 meters plus a deck, while all the other buildings from 263 all the way over are at the same depth. So it creates a different visual aspect of why one house has to stick out and all the other houses, even new builds, all were at the same depth. I'm also have a bit of a concern that this is the only house on either side of that property that's going to be out 2 meters plus a deck. And I don't know what wind concerns are going to be of having one building jutting out and what kind of a wind draft that's going to cause in and around that building over to my property, snow drifts, etc. These are unknowns, and I think that creates some questions as why this is being proposed different to all the other properties on that on the south side of Saint Germain Avenue. Obviously, the increase in the depth, I guess, affects the number 2 variance of proposing that they increase the floor space from 6.6 times to 0.93 times, which is a significant massing increase on that property compared to all other properties most other properties on the south side of Saint Germain. Those are my concerns. Thank you.
That's it? Now, you're Jerry Wimmer, right?
Correct.
Are you speaking for Lori Cooper?
Yes, I'm the spouse.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any question for the speaker? Ms. Manning has a question.
I mean, it's 2 meters that they're asking for. When I look at the street, not all the houses are even. Like, how do you think that 2 meters in depth is going to affect you?
Well, if you look at the street on the south side, that's the only property from 263 right over that juts out further than any other property. And plus, they're adding a 4-meter deck at the same time, a raised deck.
I mean, 267 looks to me like it juts out more.
Well, also 271.
271.
On either side of the house, 269 is going to come out more than 2 meters, more than 2 meters from that property.
Okay.
So that's answered the question. Any other questions?
And the wind concerns, I don't know what the wind concerns are of having one property 2 meters higher out on either side of either properties.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Any other question? No? Okay, so I think that's all we have as far as the speakers. We don't have anybody else. So, Ms. Nafise Zavdiani, could you please come back here and address those concerns?
Yes, the neighbor had concern about the depth of the building. So if you can put up the site plan showing the building and the deck and our supporting material. Yeah, thank you. So this is a 20-feet lot. It's a narrow and deep lot. So the depth is 150. So to accommodate, but this narrow lot, to accommodate the garage and the typical floor layout, we needed to apply for the depth variance. And we tried to keep it within the precedent of the neighborhood. And if you see the precedent on the other page, you can see our depth that we're proposing is actually less than what has been approved in the neighborhood in more than 90% of the cases. And since it's a deep lot, the impact of this depth is going to be minimal to our neighbors. And if you zoom in and you can see our deck that our neighbor had the issue for that, the deck is not aligned with the building itself. We have actually recessed the deck on both sides for 1.5 feet in order to give more privacy. And the deck itself, I should mention, is not a variance. Our neighbor mentioned that this is the only house in the neighborhood that is jogging out for 2 meter. It is not, as you can see, I have the list of the addresses and the length that has been approved in the other pages. If you want to go down to the next page. Yes, here. So we are proposing 18.9, whereas as you can see, 19.4, 19.5, 19.20, and even 21 meter has been approved, and almost all of them are more than our proposal. The staff had no concern with the depth variances, but and also they mentioned that this deck is gonna increase in the depth is gonna affect the GFA. It's not going to affect the GFA, as I mentioned. GFA technical variance. Our main floor and second floor together are within the approved decisions in the neighborhood at 66%. So it's not going to affect the massing of the house in terms of GFA. But our owner has already reached them, and I think actually it's there, and has talked to them, and he's willing to put a privacy screen for the deck for our neighbors if they want more privacy. And I should mention there's no setback variance, there's no height variance. It fits within the character of the neighborhood. The staff had no concern, and we are willing to put a privacy screen for the deck for our neighbors.
Okay. Any question for the speaker? No? If not, can I have a motion then, please? If no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have listened to both sides, and there are no recommendations from the staff. So what I conclude in my presentation is that this variance number 1, 2, 3, 4, they are not minor in to my understanding, and therefore I move that it fails 4 tests, and it is not a good development. Therefore, I move this application be refused.
I'm sorry, he's moving to what? Refused. Okay, you're asking to refuse this. Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm calling for a second. No second. Therefore, the motion failed. Can I have another motion there, please? Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I actually feel that this application is quite straightforward. I've listened to both sides. I believe the neighbor argument is that this is not in keeping in the neighborhood. However, I think that the evidence that the applicant has shown is that it is. And I'm not convinced that there's any severe consequences from the depth being changed. There's also no objection from the city as well. So I'd like to make a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. There's no condition, huh? Oh, there's no condition.
No conditions.
Thank you. Second. Can I have a second? Miss Sankar seconding. All in favor? Oh, okay. Opposed? Mr. Khan opposing. Okay. Ms. Zanziabi, your application is approved and there is no conditions.
Thank you.
Number 12, which is 36 Stratgown Crescent, application number 12. And this is, we have Anthony Belcher. Mr. Belcher, are you there? Anthony Belcher?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Could you please state
Yes.
your name and address, please, for us?
Anthony Belcher, architect, 900 Yonge Street, Suite 504, Toronto.
Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
the agent for the applicant.
Yeah, okay, thank you. We have here, this is a new two-story addition, forestry condition number 2, and there are 4 variances. Could you please make a very short presentation and cover the length? Why is it from 17 meter to 29.7 meter?
Okay, it'd be helpful to have the site plan, which I submitted with my covering letter, so you can see that while I explain. That's right, that drawing. So the owners would like to demolish their existing 1.5-story detached garage, including an existing raised deck, which has been constructed to the rear of the garage roof. In its place, they would like to construct a new larger garage connected to the existing house with a new lower side entrance and mudroom. Above the new garage would be a living space consisting of a new 3rd bedroom, bathroom, and family room. The space would be connected to the existing house at the ground floor level with a proposed garden room. Due to the definition of established grade, the proposed addition is considered to be 2-story, even though the proposed work is limited to the ground floor and the walkout basement. The proposed front yard setback of the new garage from the street will be similar to that of the existing garage. Pinedale Road has been considered as the frontage rather than Strathgowan Crescent because the existing house faces Pinedale Road. Variances are required because of the irregular shape of the lot and the existing locations of the house and garage on the property. So you can see on the site plan that the front is actually Pinedale Road, the flank is Strathgowan Crescent, the rear is the lot line abutting number 2 Fidelia, and the side is the property line abutting number 9 Pinedale. Variance number 1 is to do with length. As defined in the zoning bylaw, the length of house is measured along a line parallel to that connecting the midpoints of the front lot line and the rear lot line. In this case, due to the irregular shape of the lot, a diagonal line is produced which exaggerates the proposed length dimension. If the length is measured perpendicular to the front lot line along Pinedale Road, as is typical with most lots, then the proposed length is 17.63 meters. That dimension is consistent with the maximum permitted length of 17 meters. Variance number 2 is to do with front yard setback. The minimum front yard setback for a property with only one abutting neighbor on the same street is considered to be the existing setback of that neighbor. The existing setback of the house at number 9 Pinedale is 5.61 meters, measured perpendicular to the street due to its diagonal lot configuration. The front setback of the existing detached garage on the subject property is 4.82 meters. The front setback of the proposed attached garage is 4.79 meters, so just slightly less. This is consistent with the existing situation and only 0.82 meters less than the minimum required. Variance number 3 is a technical variance. The proposed vehicle entrance on a corner lot is required to be from the flanking street. The existing driveway is on Pinedale Road, which is considered as the front, so no change is proposed from the existing situation. Variance number 4, the maximum permitted driveway width is the cumulative width of the side-by-side parking spaces behind the main front wall. In this case, that is the interior width of the proposed garage, or 7.11 meters. The proposed driveway is 7.34 meters. The amount by which it exceeds the maximum permitted is only 0.23 meters or 9 inches. So it's a very minor variance indeed. Do you have any questions that I can answer?
Thank you. Okay, so we'll see what the members, if they have any question. The only question I had was the length between 17 and 29 meters. So let's see what the members have to say. Any question for the speaker? If you're okay, then.
So, Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Ms. Tarodi has a question?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair.
Please,
I know we
please
have
go ahead.
drawing, but I would like to ask, what is the existing length, building length?
I think it's on the site plan. Just a minute. The difference is that the existing building length does not include the garage because the garage is currently detached. So the way that existing building length is defined, it's just the dimension of the existing house.
So then what's
Look at
the
our
number?
I'm just enlarging the drawing. Just give me a minute, please.
So the another question is, are you almost building on the location of the existing detached garage?
Yes, we are. So the existing length is 59 feet 4 inches. The proposed length is 97 foot 6 inches.
Could you please give us a number in meters and centimeter?
Yeah, just a minute. Proposed length is 29.72. Existing length is 18.1. So your second question was the existing garage footprint is where the new garage is going to be located. The new garage is slightly larger, so the footprint of the proposed garage would extend 1 meter to the north of the existing raised deck, 2.13 meters to the west of the existing garage, and 0.4 meters to the west of the existing deck. So on the site plan, the dotted line in bold shows the existing garage and existing raised deck.
Okay. Any other question? If not, can I have a motion then, please? There's no other speaker here.
So the main issue with the length is how length is defined and how it has to be
Okay,
defined
thank
as
you.
the diagonal.
Thank you. Ms. Sankar has her hand up. Could you please, motion please?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I mean, I've listened to the explanations provided by the applicant here today, and I'm tending to understand his view on this from a technical perspective. I also do believe that transportation has no concerns with it. There's also, no one that I've noted here to speak or providing any context or, different opinions. And so for that reason, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, and I'll make it subject to 4, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning seconding. All in favor? We have 2 seconds here. Thank you. Okay, so the application is approved, subject just for the condition of the forestry.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Application number 13, which is 36 Overton Crescent. And here we have John Sebenik. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Could you please state your name and address so you be recorded on the system?
Yes. My name is John Sibenik. I am the agent applicant for 36 Overton Crescent.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is just to legalize front yard parking driveway, 1 variance, forestry condition have 1 and 5, and there is nothing else, and we have there's nobody in the chamber and nobody registered to speak. So, members, do we need the presentation here?
No.
Yeah? No? You had your hand. Do you need presentation?
No, I just
No.
ready to.
Okay, so can I have a motion there, please?
Yes, through you,
Oh,
Mr.
just a
Chair.
second, second. Sir, we don't need the presentation here. Do you want to say something before we move to the?
Yes, I do. I downloaded this morning. The website was down for a while, but I managed to download two urban forestry reports. One was dated the 15th and the other the 17th. And I wasn't sure which one overrides the other and which one is applicable.
It's okay. When we say forestry, subject to forestry, we don't deal with the details. We just ask them if they have nothing, then we have nothing.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
through you, there is a denial memo from forestry.
What's that?
There is a denial memo. There's a request to deny variance 1.
Yeah, what's that? The denial? Oh, okay. All right. So, Miss, we had Miss Sankar. Do you still want to make a motion? You still want to make motion? Yeah. So please go ahead.
Oh, okay. You want to proceed with the presentation?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I can do that. I just wasn't sure if the request for deferral was what I should perhaps suggest or recommend, because I'm at a loss when I see these two reports from urban forestry. I mean, we are going to apply to urban forestry to injure one tree. That's definitely in the cards. I'm just not sure if the committee, how the committee can rule on something when there's a request for denial.
Mr. Chair, if I may just interrupt just to say that I think that he's making some good points, and I wouldn't feel comfortable moving forward with this this information. If he is requesting a deferral up front, I think we should consider it.
Who's speaking now?
So that he takes.
Oh, Nadini. Okay.
This is Ms. Sankar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something that I wanted to comment on quickly, just so that he doesn't go through the whole length of a presentation and then it could go a different direction that he may not anticipate. And so I just want to say that I'm not comfortable with moving forward unless, he tries to work this out further with forestry, if that's the case. Because putting it subject to forestry leaves him at a bit of, a path that he can't recover from. He'll probably want to talk to the coming back.
Yeah, well, I thought.
Yeah, I think there's too many cooks here. Let's see. We have here the forestry. There is conditions here. So, you want to make a?
Mr. Chair, I have a question too.
You have a question. Okay, I asked before if there's any question. So when we got to the motion, then the whole thing opened. Mr. Khan, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sir, I would like to address the variance number 1, which is parking in front yard, and it should be in the abutting street. Where is the transportation services report?
The whole application is for front yard. We have the variance. The application here to legalize front yard parking. There is one. So what's your question? There is a front yard parking. They want to legalize it. Front yard parking sometimes is not allowed on the street, and they want to legalize it. And that's the only variance they have here. So what's your question?
Sir, my question is, generally when anything is going to be legalized or the minor variances before us, and it is related to the transportation services, they have to okay it or give us the opinion. In this case, there is only one variance and related to the transportation services, and we don't have any input from that
Well,
organization.
if we have no report, you have no report from them. We can't ask every department to give an idea. They have no idea. This is front yard parking is very, very common in the area, and sometimes they have permit parking, and they have front yard. They want to legalize it. So we say yes or no. So anyways, I think Ms. Tarodi, please go ahead. Make your motion. You were the first one wanting a motion. Please go ahead, make a motion.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I agree with Ms. Sankar because we got two reports. One of them is a condition number 1 of the forestry, and the other one we received on August 15 that forestry request denial of variance 1. And since this application is only one variance, I think it's fair to just defer the application so that the applicant have enough time to talk with urban forestry. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to defer this application sine die so that the applicant have enough time to contact urban forestry and address the issue.
Okay, we have a motion here to defer it sine die and to allow the applicant to straight out the condition of forestry. Do I have a second? I have 2 seconds here. Okay, Ms. Sankar was first, and all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is deferred sine die. We generally don't like to defer an application after it has been discussed, but in this case, we allow it to be deferred. So please go ahead and discuss with the forestry and come up with a clear application. Okay.
Thank you. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Good move. She's good, huh? Okay, item number 14, which is 253 Brook Avenue, application number 14. And here we have Chris Marchese. Are you there?
Good afternoon, Sir Chair. Yes, Chris Marchese here, 185 Legion Road North, Unit 1903. I'm here to speak on behalf of the property owner for 253 Brook Avenue.
Thank you. We have here to reduce soft landscaping, one variance only, but we have some objections, but there's nobody to speak. Nobody's in chamber, and nobody is recorded to speak. So could you make very, very short presentation, please, and tell us why these people are, if you discussed with these people who are objecting to it?
Yeah, no problem. Through you, Mr. Chair, just want to make it clear that there's no planning objection on this file. I have worked closely with planning staff and the planner on file to make sure that they are satisfied with this application prior to coming to the committee. I am aware that the number of just under 32% is the bylaw definition number that we are proposing. But through my supplemental correspondence that I submitted, what you will see is that the putting green is a permeable surface, which adds an extra 25.67 square meters to the rear yard, in which is functioning as soft landscaping. There's been over 30 trees or 40 trees planted on the subject property. The second story deck does have material that water can seep through and drain down to the ground, which adds an additional 15.42 square meters of what is functioning as soft landscaping in the rear yard. So although the number as per the bylaw definition is somewhat lower, there is actually functioning at 49.29%, or just under 2 square meters below the bylaw requirement. I just also want to note that although there haven't been a ton of rear yard landscaping variances, through my review of Google Images and Google Maps, because I can access the rear yards of the subject property, while looking through Brook Avenue, you will see a substantial amount of pool and rear yard hard landscaping existing in the immediate context, which further justifies that this is not an abnormal characteristic in this neighborhood. And the backyard will be functioning as if it's almost meeting the bylaw requirement of 50% soft landscaping. As a professional planner, it's my opinion that this meets the test under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act and should be approved. I will be happy to answer any further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? No? Can I have a motion then, please? Miss Attarodi, please go ahead.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
Thank you. Second. Miss, I have here Miss Manning seconding. All in favor? Mr. Khan, I don't see your hand. For or against? Okay, you're for. Okay, thank you. So unanimous. So, sir, your application is unanimously approved, and there is no conditions. And now we're.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members.
you.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Now we're going to break for. We're going to break and we resume at 2 o'clock.